Hi, my name is Frank Gargana. I'm a student in the SUNY Delhi PGM program, and today we're going to talk a little bit about chipping. So in my experience with chipping, there's two main things that people do wrong. They decelerate, which is the first thing. So that's just decelerating coming into impact. Look a little bit like this. That's when you're going to see that chunk shot, or if I miss the ground, I'm going to skull it way over the green. The other thing they do is they miss the ground in general. So the most important thing you can do in chipping is bottom out the golf club. So what I mean by that is make sure that club is hitting the ground. Okay, in order to hit this thing up in the air with a nice soft trajectory that we want, we got to get the club moving underneath the golf ball. So the way you do that, you take a few practice swings right before you hit your shot, and every time you take this practice swing, I want to see you make contact with the ground, just like that. That's going to have your arms get in the same consistent spot to bottom out the club each time, and that's something that we really want to look for. And the second thing, like I said, is we've got to make sure we're accelerating. So I can hit the ground and decelerate, and it'll look like that. So it's a combination of the two things that make the perfect chip shot. So another thing most amateurs do when it comes to chipping is they flip with the golf ball. So what that means is I form an angle here on my way back, and in order to get that ball up in the air, they think they have to notice helping it up and flip with the golf ball and try and scoop it up into the air. This is one of the worst things you can do with chipping, especially under pressure. It's going to be really, really tough to time it out, and it's going to result in a lot of those either chunk shots that go nowhere or the really bad skulls over the green that we all hate. So in order to prevent that, we really got to be sure to hold this angle that we create in our backswing. Phil Mickelson talks a lot about the hinge and hold, and this is kind of the basis of that. So what I want to do, I take the club back. Like I said, it's going to form an angle. That angle is going to be between the club shaft and my left arm. Okay? The pros keep that angle the entire way. Amateurs will lose that angle and do something like this. Okay? So the way we're going to hold that angle is we're going to form it on the way back and then use our body turn to retain that on the way through. Okay? So it's not this. That's going to get extended. We're probably going to shank it. What I want to do, form that angle and then turn that angle with my body. Okay, so that's how we're going to hold it. And we're going to get the consistent point that we bottom at the golf club each and every time. Okay, it's going to look a little something like this. Perfect contact every time. So the last thing I have for you guys today has to do with club selection. A lot of times around the greens, I see a lot of amateurs make the mistake of taking way too much loft way too often. So what that means, so if I have a tight lie to a close pin with no rough in front of me, I want to keep that ball as low as I can the entire time. So rather than taking that lob wedge that you would take most of the time, and again trying to get that big high shot that you see the pros do, think about taking the club with a little less loft, say an 8 or a 9 iron is what I'd usually use, and you want to just putt that thing up to the green. All right, so just another big tip is really focus on club selection and not taking too much loft unless you have to.